Hello, in this video, we are going to look at a handicapping angle, a handicapping concept that is referred to as the key race method. I learned this, 2002, 2003, when I learned it from the classic handicapping book called Thoroughbreds for the 21st Century. When I first read it, it was actually called Betting Thoroughbreds for the 20th Century, and it's by the late great handicapper and writer Steve Davidowitz. So if you haven't got that book yet and you're interested in learning how to bet on horses and handicap horses, I highly recommend you add that to your handicapping and horse racing library. I'll put a link in the description of this video so you can check it out if you like to purchase it. But in this book, Betting Thoroughbreds for the 21st Century, we're going to use it as it pertains to the Kentucky Derby and some contenders that are involved in the Kentucky Derby. But you can use this pretty much any meet that you play on a regular basis. If you keep up with the horses, if you follow horse racing, especially a particular circuit, this method, the key race method, can really pay dividends, I think. So let's look back at the Risen Star Stakes. It occurred back in February 19th to be exact, at Fairgrounds down in New Orleans, Louisiana. It was 1 1/16 miles on the dirt for 3-year-olds, and it was a Derby prep race. It is a Derby prep race every single year. And I think this particular race, one, is great to illustrate the key race method, but two, I think could play a pivotal role in the 2022 Kentucky Derby. Every year, I try to look at what tracks, what circuits produce the most logical, probable Kentucky Derby winners. Historically, I think Florida down in Gulfstream Park and Oaklawn Park is two tracks that you really got to pay attention to in terms of talent lately. I'm not quite sure 2022, those two tracks are producing the most talent, the most likely winners for the Kentucky Derby. Of course, we're going to see when they race in the Kentucky Derby. I think this particular year, 2022, I think Aqueduct, as well as the Fairgrounds down in Louisiana, that's where your probable potential Kentucky Derby winners are going to come from this year. I think the racing down at the Fairgrounds was very, very competitive. Had a lot of talent down there in terms of the Derby prep races, but also like the Wood Memorial up in Aqueduct, and several of those Derby prep races were pretty strong, certainly more so in years past. So I think pay attention to the prep races that occurred at the Fairgrounds in Louisiana and Aqueduct up in New York. But back to the main point of this video, the Risen Star Stakes and how it could potentially be a key race. So if we scroll down, we see the results that happened. It was a field of 10. And if you've been keeping up with the contenders, the Derby leaderboard, the Kentucky Derby leaderboard, these names are very familiar. So as you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, half the field is racing in the 2022 Kentucky Derby. But remember, this race occurred on February 19th, 2022, and these horses went on to win other races or compete, finish high up in other races. And that's what you're looking for in terms of a key race. A key race is a race that you can look back on in hindsight and be like, man, that was some serious talent in that race. Look who raced in that race. Look who raced against each other. Look at the competition of that one race. And many times when horses are in a key race, they go on to do really good things. Zandon, my goodness, very impressive. Tawny Port in his last race before the Kentucky Derby, very impressive. Epicenter, who need I say more with Epicenter? But that's what a key race is. And so if you keep up with horse racing, every now and then you're going to see races that you can, if you spot the trend early enough, be like, that horse was in this race, even though it might have finished fourth or fifth, it was in that key race. I might want to pay particular attention to that horse wherever it's going to race next, because I know he was facing a huge amount of talent in that particular key race. For the sake of this video, this example is the 2022 Risen Star Stakes. So if we look back in February and we see who was involved in this race, half the field is in the Kentucky Derby. But before they even got to the starting gate of the Kentucky Derby, they exited this race and performed really well leading up to the Kentucky Derby. So you have a lot of talent in the Risen Star Stakes. Now, will that equal a Kentucky Derby winner in the first Saturday of May? That remains to be seen as I record this video. But as a handicapper, as a bettor, I'm very curious how the runners that come out of the Risen Star Stakes are going to do in the Kentucky Derby. Of course, we got to factor in post positions and other handicapping factors. But keep your eye on these horses. Epicenter, Smile Happy, Zandon, I think it's Zandon, Pioneer of Medina, and Tawny Port. Keep your eyes on them. See how they do in the Kentucky Derby, because I think that the Fairgrounds races were very strong this year. The competition was really good down there in Louisiana. And keep your eyes on these horses, and we're going to look back, or at least I am, to see if this indeed was a key race. Now, Kentucky Derby race withstanding, keep your eyes on these horses as the years go forward. Whether or not they win or lose the Kentucky Derby, pay attention where they go, because I think as long as they stay sound and healthy, I think these are going to be horses to keep your eye on that's probably going to have consistent success that you can kind of count on, bank on. Might not be just a win bet, but certainly in your exactas, trifectas, and superfectas. I think the 2022 Risen Star Stakes was a very strong race that had some serious equine talent in it, and we're going to keep our eyes on these horses when they leave the starting gate in the 2022 Kentucky Derby. Again, that's called the key race method. I learned it. Got to give credit where credit's due from Steve Davidowitiz when I read his book way back in the day, Betting Thoroughbreds for the 21st Century. I'll put a link in the description below. But that's the key race method. You can use it in a high-profile race like the Risen Star that led up to the Louisiana Derby, that led up to the Kentucky Derby, or you can use it anytime you get a sense that a particular race had some serious talent in it, and pay attention to those horses, follow those horses, put them in your stable, virtual stable, keep your eyes on them as their career progresses, and you might get rewarded for it. All right, so if you like this video, hit that like button. What do you think the best prep races, where did they come from? Was it Oaklawn Park? Was it Fairgrounds? Was it Gulfstream Park? Was it Keeneland or Turfway Park? Was it Aqueduct? Let us know in the comments below. Go ahead and feel free to leave a comment. Till next time, this is a Weekend Handicapper. Hit that like button. If you hadn't already, I appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Ring that notification bell so you can get all the latest tips, tools, and resources that help you make money betting on thoroughbred horse racing. Good luck, everybody. Take care.